Hey Frag fam, Corbin here from Northwest Scent. Today we're going to be doing another review of a fragrance. Now this fragrance is from a fairly small niche house. They don't have too many offerings from the house, and then the product they do put out, it's usually in limited quantity, but the fragrances are amazing, every single one of them. And this house sort of has a cult following, you could say, of people that once they get sucked into this house and try their fragrances, they're just diehard fans. And I'm definitely in that camp as well. I think this is an amazing fragrance, so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it. If that sounds interesting, please stay tuned. But first, let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back. So this review is really exciting for me. This is one of my favorite new releases. I just got it in my collection about a month ago, but I've loved wearing it ever since. And it's definitely one of my favorite pickups from 2020. So the fragrance is from the house of Dixit and Zach, and it's called Rising Mysore 2. So just starting off with the basics, it's classified as an aromatic fougere. The perfumers are Natish Dixit and Zakir Laskar, and then it was released in 2020. And the unique thing with this perfume house in particular is the creative directors are also the perfumers. That's kind of where the name comes from, Dixit and Zach, which I absolutely love. It's a very small house and they put out very high quality product. So let's kick it right off with the smell. So the amount of notes in this fragrance is honestly insane. I don't even want to try and name them all off. So I'll just put a note breakdown for you guys right here. But as you can see, there are quite a few. And kind of in that sense, it kind of reminds me of Rose Dove fragrances where you have just like 30 plus different notes, but they all kind of work together in melody to where you can't really pick out individual ones too prominently. They just kind of blend together and smell amazing. And this is definitely that style of fragrance. So right off the top for me, it just gives me a blast of like the most high quality, refreshing Coca-Cola you can imagine. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's a little bit fresh because it has a lot of citruses. You definitely get this prominent star anise note, which is one of the things I can definitely pick out from this fragrance. And then it also just has some white florals just to kind of add a little bit of freshness, kind of similar to like Neroli, for example, and like Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. It's definitely not a floral fragrance by any means, but they're definitely there as supportive roles. And that lasts for about 20 or 30 minutes. For me, the opening on this is absolutely breathtaking and insane. And in the sense of Coca-Cola, it kind of does remind me just a little bit of Rose Dove's Creation E or Enigma, but by no means are they clones or even inspired by fragrances. This one has its own unique twist and it does its own thing. But if you do like Rose Dove's Creation E or Enigma, you would probably definitely enjoy this fragrance just because of that style of opening. Now, like I said, the opening doesn't last very long, and also the unique thing with this fragrance is it's 100% natural. There's zero synthetics in this. So in that sense, the notes are a little more volatile, especially those citruses, they burn off very quickly, and you definitely do get some transitions from the opening to the mid, and it's definitely a kind of transportive fragrance where you get something over here and then it completely shifts gears and then it'll kind of go in a different direction. Now once this fragrance transitions to the mid, it becomes a lot more woody and spicy. The only woody note used in this fragrance is sandalwood, but it's a very dominant sandalwood and it's quite creamy, which is kind of a characteristic of sandalwood. It's known for kind of having this milky quality to it. And coincidentally, this fragrance actually reminds me of the sandalwood used in Zaharoff's signature Pour Homme. And by no means am I saying that they smell the same, because they don't. They're very different fragrances, but it's just that milky, creamy sandalwood that they both have that is a little bit similar. And that can definitely be attributed to the naturals that are used in both of them, but it's very high quality smelling. Now, the cardamom, it shows up in the mid, and it kind of provides this spiciness, this sweetness. It's just a little bit seductive, and it makes this fragrance really interesting. You also get the white florals. They have hung in there from the opening and they just add a little bit of freshness. By the time you get to the dry down, this is basically a sandalwood dominant fragrance. It has a little bit of vanilla in the base just to add a touch of sweetness, and then some of the spiciness hangs in there. Frankly, I don't know which spices are in the base. There's quite a few used in the fragrance, but it just has this general spiciness to it. It's just basically woody, a little bit sweet and spicy. It still smells nice, but definitely for me, the draw with this fragrance is the opening in the mid. Now, as far as performance goes, that's another place that this fragrance shines in. I get about 8 hours with it, which might sound average or maybe a little bit above average, but you have to remember that this fragrance is 100% natural. There are zero synthetics in it. And naturals have a really hard time clinging to your skin. They burn off a lot easier. Fragrances like Dior Sauvage, you know, they use ambroxan and a ton of aroma chemicals. Baccarat Rouge 540, as nice as it is, it's basically an entirely synthetic fragrance. And for that reason, again, it's beast mode. 8 hours with a completely natural fragrance is amazing. I usually get about 4 or 5 hours with natural fragrances. This one performs really well, and I'm super impressed with it in that aspect. The one big gripe I have with this fragrance is the price. For this 30 milliliter size bottle, which is the only size that this fragrance comes in, nothing larger, it runs $140 US from LuckyScent.com. And Lucky Scent is actually the only website in North America that I saw that had it in stock. Like I said earlier, they're out of stock currently. They will get more in stock. But for how little juice you're getting, I think that is very steep. Like, it is naturals, 100% naturals. The scent quality is good. The performance is there. But still, that is quite a stretch as far as price goes. And $140 is honestly the best price I've found. They only sell their fragrances through third-party sellers, mostly located in India. And each of them charges a different price, basically. There is no standard retail price for this fragrance. So honestly, you basically have to pay whatever they're asking for when it is available. And like I said, the best price I did see was from Lucky Scent, and that is what I was able to pick it up for, was $140 from Lucky Scent. So again, I will link it down below. If you are intrigued by this fragrance, it is really cool to own just because it is limited quantity, but it is very expensive. And because of that, I can't recommend it to beginner or even intermediate collectors, just because I don't think there's a lot of bang for your buck here. But if you are a collector and you've been looking for this fragrance for a while, or maybe you just want something from Dixit and Zach, then just check the link down below and catch it when it's in stock next. Well, there's my review of Dixit and Zach Rising Mysore 2. I think it is a great fragrance. However, it is quite expensive. So you kind of have to pick your poison on whether you want to buy this or not, because you may have to hold off on buying some other fragrances going forward. But if you guys enjoyed this review, I would really appreciate leaving a like and then commenting down below. And while you're down there, maybe just subscribing and hitting the bell notification, just so you guys stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released. But with all that out of the way, that's all I have for you guys today. So I hope you guys have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.